Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. And when he had gathered all the chief priests and scribes of the people together, he demanded of them where Christ should be born. And they said unto him, In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it is written by the prophet, And thou, Bethlehem, in the land of Judea, art not the least among the princes of Judah, for out of thee shall come a governor, that shall rule my people Israel. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem, and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star, which they saw in the east, went before them, till it came and stood over where the young child was. When they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. When he arose, he took the young child and his mother by night, and departed into Egypt, and was there until the death of Herod, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Out of Egypt have I called my son. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth, and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men. Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet, saying, In Ramah was there a voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted, because they are not. But when Herod was dead, behold, an angel of the Lord appeared in a dream to Joseph in Egypt, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and go into the land of Israel, for they are dead which sought the young child's life. And he arose and took the young child and his mother, and came into the land of Israel. But when he had heard that Archelaus did reign in Judea in the room of his father Herod, he was afraid to go thither. Notwithstanding, being warned of God in a dream, he turned aside into the parts of Galilee. And he came and dwelt in a city called Nazareth, that it might be fulfilled which was spoken by the prophets, He shall be called a Nazarene. So I guess the beginning of these would be a good time to address anything from previous videos. And in my last video, I said that David was the third king of Israel, and some people commented and said that that wasn't right. And now I see what they're saying, and I definitely agree with them. I was doing the horrible, this is a research sin of just picking something off of Wikipedia and taking it at face value without doing that much more research into it. I mean, it's just a minor detail. It doesn't make it that big of a difference, but it brings up a new thing to look into. Why some people might say that David is the third king has something to do with this person named Ishbosheth. And if you want to research this, it's in 2 Samuel. Basically, in between Saul and David, there was this guy who was a contested, somebody just proclaimed him to be king of Israel, but he was disputed, and he's not a legitimate king. So that's where people will say that David is the second king, because he's the second legitimate king of Israel. And yeah, I see where they're coming from with that. So thanks for the comments. And so in this video, chapter 2, it's really just continuing chapter 1. And I think that this is something that I didn't even notice at first, but now it seems more obvious to me that more so than just telling the story of Jesus from the beginning, Matthew really is setting the foundation through showing the prophecy that's been fulfilled. Matthew is purposefully starting out with, here's all this prophecy that's fulfilled that proves that Jesus is the Christ. And so that's more of what chapter 2 is. There's actually three different location prophecies that all are fulfilled at the same time. And, well, I mean, obviously not they happened at different points in times, but what I mean by that is, it seems almost contradictory that the Bible could have multiple prophecies about where the Messiah comes from. And to me, that just shows, that's just one of those things, God's will. God is able to make it happen. It might seem contradictory at first, or nearly impossible for the Messiah to be born in Bethlehem, also come from Egypt, and then also be a Nazarene, because those are the three prophecies that are fulfilled. And so it's just one of those things. To me, I could see outsiders going, how could your prophecies ever be true? Look, they're supposed to be from Bethlehem, but then also come from Egypt, but then they're also supposed to be a Nazarene. How is that supposed to happen? But chapter 2 explains the timeline and the circumstances that led to all of these prophecies being fulfilled through Jesus. And there's also, so this kind of goes back to the last chapter. A lot of people can't even get past chapter 1. If people are complaining about the Bible being full of genealogies, they probably never got past page 1, because page 2 is already action-packed and full of intense storylines that get told time and time again. The king or the queen hearing of somebody prophetic and then going out of their way to destroy them, but then they're saved. Like, so many fictional tales are inspired by the Bible. And of course, I believe that the Bible is the original true source. I mean, these stories are powerful because it's true. It just rings true. I don't know, it might even just be ingrained in us, that these tales by this point. And so child genocide is one more prophecy that is fulfilled in this chapter. So four different prophecies in chapter 2. I think that more so than just, they're telling the narrative of Jesus from birth, I think that this was purposefully done to front load the New Testament with, here's all the proof that Jesus is the Messiah, because he fulfills all these prophecies. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless everyone. Oh man, I totally forgot about one topic. I just skipped over it in my notes. The imagery of the wise men. So I'll just try to keep this really quick. I think that this is one of those things where popular media really ingrains in your mind a vision of, to me, the wise men, my mind just goes straight to the cheesy nativity scenes. And so I know that's probably so wrong. And so I'll just quickly say my opinion. Please leave a comment about what's your opinion of the wise men. To me, I don't think that they covered themselves with jewels. It seems like their treasure that they gave to Jesus was probably just a small, something that they had tucked away in all of their stuff. I think that they were probably more like science-y guys, like real science. Maybe they practiced alchemy back then, I don't know. But to me, wise men, I think, meant like scholarly, and I don't know why the imagery of wise men is always portrayed as like rich man, but we should know better than to think that just like rich people are wise. Wise man, they probably looked more like Merlin or something than they did some rich guy. And so that's my opinion. They probably were astronomers. I don't think that the star that they were following was super obvious. I mean, if the star was really bright and really obvious, more people would have known about it than 3 wise men. And the reason that they knew about it is because they were so wise. Oh yeah, and that's one other thing. The wise men coming from the east. I think that's just where there's just a huge meme of wisdom coming in from the east. And that's probably where it comes from the wise men coming from the east. And yeah, they probably were just more looking like crazy college professor than a king, and they probably were really into astronomy, and they probably had all sorts of high-tech, for the time, gadgets, and I bet they had telescopes with them and things. Let me know what you think. God bless everyone.